This is the scariest video on the internet. This is Joseph D'Angelo Jr., who's also known as the original Night Stalker. He is an American serial killer who is also formerly a police officer who's been indicted on at least 13 murders, 120 robberies, and over 50 assaults on women. Listen how crazy this is. He would break into a house, tie the couple up, and he would take the male victim, put plates on top of the male victim, and would tell him that if any plate dropped that he would kill both of them. So now the male victim is laying down on his stomach, and obviously he's scared and shaking, so eventually one of the plates are gonna fall anyway. Even creepier than that, if he found a woman that he wanted to assault, he would call the home phone before and after the incident took place. And the video you are going to hear is exactly that. This is from one of the victim's answering machines in the 1980s. After listening to this, I can honestly say,
in a horrifying piece of CCTV footage, a man tries to abduct a barista through the drive-thru window. Washington State Police have released this clip that occurred on Monday at around 5 a.m. of a man in his car trying to pull the barista out of the drive-thru window into his car whilst he's holding a zip tie device. She's seen just handling cash before he literally lurches out of the window and grabs her wrist, and the other hand has a zip tie. Thankfully, she managed to escape before he just sped off. Despite the terrifying nature of the crime, thankfully, due to the publication of the CCTV, police received loads of tips and actually arrested a suspect on Tuesday morning. The giveaway for the alleged suspect was actually the tattoo, which spelled Chevrolet. Not a very common tattoo, but led to a lot of people phoning in and even giving a name. Thank goodness she managed to get away. That is not okay.
I just want to show you before we finish just a picture of your sister, Ella. That's her just before she died. Beautiful young girl with her whole life at her. What do you feel when you look at that picture?
I feel like I don't deserve to be shown that picture.
What do you mean?
I am the reason why that every picture of my sister is only of her as a girl. I am the reason why there are no pictures of her at age 5 or 6 or 7 or beyond. I'm the reason why that you will never have new pictures of her, and I don't deserve to look at that picture.
Imagine being on the phone with your son and hearing the exact moment he disappeared forever. That's what happened to the parents of Brandon Swanson, who mysteriously vanished in 2008. That year, on May 14th, Brandon went out to celebrate the end of classes with his friends. After attending a couple of parties, he decided to drive home. However, instead of taking the most direct route, he drove through a farming road and accidentally ended up in a ditch. Brandon was okay, but he called his parents asking them to come and fetch him. But although they drove around the area he told them he was in for hours, they couldn't find him in the dark. He then suggested they meet in the parking lot of a nearby nightclub and decided to cross a field to take a shortcut. Brandon's father was on the phone with his son, and he suddenly heard him shout, "Oh," before the call was cut off. Brandon's phone was turned off after that, and he was never seen again. Despite the extensive search effort involving police dogs, air surveillance, and hundreds of volunteers, the teen's disappearance still remains a mystery.
Real human babies are not sold at Walmart, but Rebecca Taylor didn't get the memo. A mother was checking out at Walmart with her blonde hair, blue-eyed baby when Rebecca approached her about how beautiful her child was. The mother, thinking nothing of it, laughed it off and thanked her. Rebecca began fixating on the baby's appearance, and the mother got creeped out. That's when Rebecca offered her $250,000 for the baby, which obviously sent chills down the mother's spine. The mother told Rebecca that the baby was not for sale. She then got frightened and hurried to her car. That's when Rebecca went crazy. She was so worried she locked her children in her car as Rebecca tried to pry them out. Rebecca raised the offer to $500,000, said that the baby would be hers either way. Even weirder, Rebecca knew the child's name and was calling it out. Rebecca was arrested for the purchase or sale of a child in January of 2022. She later denied all allegations.
Do you remember the story of the adult woman who was pretending to be a child in order to get adopted? Well, the story is so much crazier than that. In 2010, the Barnett family adopted Natalia Grace, a 6-year-old girl from Ukraine. But shortly after the adoption, the family claimed that Natalia wasn't who she said she was. She couldn't speak any Ukrainian, which the family thought was weird, but she was also showing signs of being post-puberty, meaning she probably wasn't 6 years old. So the parents got a bone density test done on her, and the doctor said that she was at least 14, if not older. And on top of that, her behavior was starting to become menacing. She would stand over the parents' beds at night saying she was just waiting for the right time, and she threatened violence against the 3 other sons. One time she even tried to poison the mother. But what do the parents do? They get her age legally changed to 22 years old, rent her an apartment, and leave her in it by herself. They thought they were escaping a murderer, but many believe that they abandoned a disabled child. There's so many twists and turns to this story, and I do a whole deep dive on my podcast this week.
Things that bother you, they never bother me. I feel happy and fine.
I will be showing the video, but nonetheless, hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know in under 1 minute. In September of 2017, 31-year-old Laura Wallen vanished into thin air. Her boyfriend Tyler Tessier had played the part of the worried boyfriend desperate for answers. However, he was living a double life. He had a fiance, and he feared that Laura would expose her pregnancy. The night of her unaliving, Laura texted her friend and stated, "Tyler has taken me to an open field in Damascus. I'm not sure why we're here, but it's in the middle of nowhere." Her body was found a few days later. Sam and Colby eventually uploaded a video where they were in the same area at the same time, and they captured a woman begging for help. Here's the video.
What the? Did you get that? Yeah, I got that. Somebody is screaming. Someone's screaming bloody murder. Whoa. Guys, what the? Do you hear that? Yeah.
What do you guys think? I don't even have to have a hook for this story as it left me speechless. Hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know in under 1 minute. This is 56-year-old Billie Davis. On the evening of January 11th, 2023, she was riding the Bloomington Transit bus when an 18-year-old girl had got out of her seat to exit. Out of nowhere, Billie got up and then began beating and stabbing the 18-year-old girl in the head. As soon as it started, it stopped. Billie then got off the bus and walked away. Thankfully, one of the passengers on the bus did follow Billie and eventually called authorities to let them know where her location was. This is the part that really enraged me. Once in custody, she told police that she wanted to unalive the victim due to her, quote, being Chinese, as it would be one less person to blow up the country, end quote. According to reports, she is now facing up to life in prison for attempted murder.
This video shows Kayla Brown chained up in the slave storage container of Todd Kohlhepp, the Amazon review killer. Between 2003 and 2016, he murdered at least 7 people in South Carolina, dropping several clues along the way. He left several reviews on Amazon products that he used in the killings, like this one that reads, "Keep in your car when you have to hide the bodies and left the full-size shovel at home." In 2016, Kayla and her boyfriend Charles went missing after they went to clean Todd's residence. No one heard from them for months until a post was made to Charles' Facebook page saying that he and Kayla were expecting a baby. Shortly after, an old photo of the couple was posted with the caption, "We are fine." This raised suspicions, leading police to trace these posts to a storage unit on Todd's property. There, they freed Kayla and took Todd into custody, where he bragged about burying several bodies on the property as well, including Kayla's boyfriend. He was given 7 life sentences, 1 for each of his murders, despite him confessing to many, many more. This video shows Kayla Brown chained up in the slave storage container of Todd Kohlhepp, the Amazon review killer. Between 2003 and 2016, he murdered at least 7 people in South Carolina, dropping several clues along the way. He left several reviews on Amazon products that he used in the killings, like this one that reads, "Keep in your car when you have to hide the bodies and left the full-size shovel at home." In 2016, Kayla and her boyfriend Charles went missing after they went to clean Todd's residence. No one heard from them for months until a post was made to Charles' Facebook page saying that he and Kayla were expecting a baby. Shortly after, an old photo of the couple was posted with the caption, "We are fine." This raised suspicions, leading police to trace these posts to a storage unit on Todd's property. There, they freed Kayla and took Todd into custody, where he bragged about burying several bodies on the property as well, including Kayla's boyfriend. He was given 7 life sentences, 1 for each of his murders, despite him confessing to many, many more.
For the record, you are guilty of killing many women and girls.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Ted, how did it happen? Take me back. What are the antecedents of the behavior that we've seen? So much grief, so much sorrow, so much pain for so many people. Where did it start? How did this moment come about?
I grew up in a wonderful home with two dedicated and loving parents, one of 5 brothers and sisters. But as a young boy, and I mean a boy of 12, 13, certainly, that I encountered outside the home again, the local grocery store, the local drugstore, the softcore pornography, what people call softcore. As young boys do, we explored the back roads and sideways and byways of our neighborhood, and oftentimes people would dump the garbage and whatever they were cleaning out of their house, and from time to time we'd come across pornographic books of a harder nature than more graphic, you might say, more explicit nature than we would encounter, let's say, in your local grocery store.
Michael Madison was given the death penalty for murdering 18-year-old Sherelda Terry, 38-year-old Angela Deskins, and 28-year-old Shatisha Sheely in Ohio in July 2013.
The sentence of death is imposed upon the defendant Michael Madison on counts 1, 4, and 7. You cajoled, lured, and deceived Shatisha Sheely, Angela Deskins, and Sherelda Terry to your apartment for your depraved purposes. You went on to abuse the corpses of these 3 victims. You stripped them from the waist down. You folded them in half, binding them so that their feet were up by their ears. You wrapped them in multiple layers of trash bags, and you discarded them.
Van Terry, the father of Sherelda Terry, was caught on camera leaping over a table to attack Madison in 2016, who smirked as he learned of his fate.
On the morning of November 29th, Christine Young suddenly woke up out of a deep sleep feeling a cold sensation come over her. It was exactly 5:45 a.m. and she noticed that her arms and legs were starting to go numb. She thought it was strange but brushed it off in the moment, not knowing what it could have meant. After all, she needed to get some sleep so she could wake up to meet with her daughter later in the morning like they had planned for a while now. But when Christine's daughter Ashley didn't show up for their arranged meeting, she began to worry. She started frantically calling Ashley's phone but got no response. So she called each one of Ashley's friends to see if they had any idea where she was. This is when she learned that her daughter Ashley had plans to meet up with 30-year-old Jared Chance and hadn't been seen since leaving a local bar with him. A few days later, police receive a disturbing phone call from a concerned neighbor in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This neighbor explains that he's just stumbled upon a tarp with a stream of blood leaking from it. When police arrive, they find that the tarp is wrapped around a human torso. The owner of that apartment? Jared Chance. The DNA of the torso is tested and it comes back that it is human and that it does belong to Ashley Young. Ashley's arms and legs were later found in a box in Jared's apartment. That's when Ashley's mom, Christine, recalls the incident from a few days prior. She believes that at the time she woke up at exactly 5:45 in the morning was the time of her daughter Ashley's death. Unfortunately, Ashley's head has still never been located.
911, what's the location of the emergency? Please help me! Yes, what address do you need help? I'm not on an address, I'm on the road, on Myers Road! He's trying to kill me! Which road are you on? Myers Road in Oregon City! Okay, do you have an address? Listen. Kathy Lee, come on, get a cop here now! Okay, who's trying to kill you? My husband! He's trying to take a truck! Okay, what? He's trying to kill me! Come on! And what kind of gun does he have? Ma'am? Ma'am? I've got... Ma'am, take a deep breath so I can understand you. Ma'am? I've already got help coming. I need you to tell me wire and what? On plan. I'm on plan. Wire. Just a minute. I'm walking. He shot me. Okay, you're on fire at Glenview Court? He shot me. Okay, where did he shoot you? In the chest. In the chest? He's over there.
you.